Set to kick off a JV game of girls basketball. It's going to be the McBain Ramblers against the Manton Rangers. The JV girls team for the Ramblers 2-0 so far this season, looking to advance to 3-0. As the ball is going to go to the Rangers, it's going to be Johnson with it. Johnson going to pass it out to Nehart. Nehart falling into a trap, trying to pass it out. Ball is loose. Almost picked up by Aisling Hoidinga. Going to roll out of bounds. I'm joined here by my partner, Landon Eisinga.
Hello.
As we start this game off in the first quarter. This first quarter, of course, brought to you by
L&J's Meat Market. It fuels the Rambler Review crew.
Pass out to Reineck. Reineck for three. No good. Rebounded by Hoidinga. Hoidinga going to lose it. Taken by Johnson. Johnson charging down the court. Johnson going to look for Nehart, but it's going to be taken by Ashlyn Hoidinga over to Annika Hoidinga. Looking for Reineck. Stolen by Nehart. Nehart going to come across with it. Just going to slow things down over to Johnson. Johnson going to find Gilbert. And going to be a foul. Foul's going to be against the Rangers, so Ramblers going to get that ball. Some troubles with the referees and a Manton player in an untucked shirt.
Gotta tuck that shirt in.
It's going to be hinting over to Cucci. Looking for a lane, finds one, driving in for the shot, good.
Good job by Cucci there. I mean, she just found that lane easily. Easy drive in for her there.
Cucci knocks the ball loose, but it's going to be a foul. .6:43 to go now. It's going to be Nehart to take it out. Going to pass it, looking for Johnson, going to be knocked out of bounds by Ashlyn Hoidinga. So Rangers going to keep that ball. Nehart going to pass it out to Gilbert. Gilbert against Annika Hoidinga. Charging in, finds somewhat of a lane, loses the ball, manages to regain, tries the shot, no good. Rebounded by Cucci. Getting over to Ashlyn Hoidinga, back to Cucci. Way deep to Annika Hoidinga. Hoidinga for the shot, good. 4-0.
Annika Hoidinga. Both the Hoidinga twins, excellent players, and they're proving that right now.
It's going to be Johnson with it now. Crosses half court. Stolen out by Cucci. Ramblers ball now. Cucci driving in. Cucci going to go for the shot. Good.
Let's talk about that Rambler full court press. I mean, they do that in JV. They do it on varsity. It's just lethal.
Now 6-0. Cucci with another steal. Cucci going to come down the court once again. Going to stop. Pass it out to Annika Hoidinga, who's going to drive in over to her sister for the easy shot. Good.
Making some noise.
And how about Jane Cucci with 2 steals on back-to-back drives from the Rangers as a timeout from the Ramblers with 5 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Back to it now. So far, the Ramblers leading 8-0. As the Rangers will have that ball, it's going to be Nehart. Going to pass it way out to Schultz. Schultz going to lose the ball out of bounds. So ball's going to go to the Ramblers. Never mind, it's going to go to the Rangers, so it hit a Rambler. Nyhart going to pass it to Johnson. Johnson with a great lane to charge through. Going to try to pass it to her teammate for the shot. No good. Rebounded by Cucci, and there's going to be Cucci's going to be called out of bounds. Never mind, it's going to be called a foul against the Rangers. So McBain will get the ball. Going to pass it out to Cucci. Cucci going to pass it to Reakt. Reakt over to Hoidinga in the paint. Hoidinga's shot up and through.
The Twins, I mean, I said it earlier, they're important players to this team, and they're just making that known.
Johnson's going to get the ball knocked out of her hands, picked up by a Ranger. So ball's going to go to the Rangers. It's going to be Nyhart to pass it out. Nyhart going to find Johnson. Johnson just going to slow it down against Tori. Tori going to get the steal. Tori going to travel. Just a tough travel there as she had Reakt open down court for an easy shot. So Rangers ball now. Shot up by Nyhart is good, so they will get their first points up now as we enter 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. It's going to be Tori driving in with it now. Passing it over to Hoidinga. Hoidinga for the shot, good. 12-12 or 12-2.
Hoidinga Twins back at it.
Press from the Ramblers, picked up by Reakt. Reakt charging in. Going to pass it out to Tori. Tori over to Hinton. Hinton, ball way over anybody's head. It's going to go to Ashlyn Hoidinga now to slow it down. Looking for anything. Going to find Reakt. And it's going to be a travel. So ball is going to go to the Rangers, trailing by 10 now. Nyhart going to look for Johnson. Ball's going to go out of bounds. So Nyhart once again passing it over to Schultz. Schultz looking in. Over to Johnson, over to Nyhart. Nyhart going to take the shot. No good. Rebounded by Fansett. Gonna call, and it will go to the Ramblers now. With 4 minutes, 2 seconds left to go. It's gonna be Fansett over to Tori. Tori gonna call a screen, pass it over to Hoidinga. Hoidinga in the paint, shot, no good, but there will be a foul. So Hoidinga will get 2 at the line, looking to make it 14-2. First attempt by Hoidinga up and through. That is, of course, Annika Hoidinga, and her 5th point of this first quarter. Second attempt from Hoidinga is up and through, so 14-2 now with 3:51 to go. It's going to be Rangers coming down with it. Johnson charging in for the shot, no good, rebounded by Ashlyn Hoidinga. And a foul.
Great fast break by Manton there. They just needed that follow through though. I mean, open shot, just need to focus a little bit harder on that.
So it's going to be Cucci to Most likely take it past half court. Gonna pass it out to Fansett. Looking for Holding through her hands. Will regain possession. It's gonna be over to Holding once again in the paint. Shot up and through.
That's something I love about this McBain team. They love to pass the ball around and find someone in the
Coochie
paint.
has the ball out of nowhere. Takes a shot, no good. And then the Rangers are gonna travel with it. So now it's going to be Coochie to pass it out. Going to look for Torrey. Over to Hinton. Looking for a lane, back to Coochie. Takes a screen. Coochie going to drive in for the shot. Travel. Shot won't count. It did go through. But Rangers going to get that ball. So Nyhart to pass it out over to Johnson. Gonna go over to trouble with it is Nixon, and Nixon gonna get a foul. So Nyhart gonna pass it to Johnson. Johnson over to Nixon. Back to Johnson. Johnson gonna drive, stop, take the shot, no good. Rebounded by the Rangers. That is Nyhart. Nyhart gonna drive in and will double dribble. Coochie to take it past half court with 2 minutes 33 seconds to go. Gonna drive in for a lane, shot up, no good. Rebounded by a Hoydinga. Hoydinga's shot up and through. That was Annika.
Annika with the great rebound there. I mean, I gotta say at least once this game, rebounds matter.
Nyhart gonna run down with it. Gonna stop. Pass it out, looking for, that was Gilbert, but didn't get it all the way to Torrey. Torrey with the drive, Torrey with the shot, through.
Another fast break.
20-2, Ramblers leading. Johnson gonna look for Nyhart. Johnson in the paint, gonna get a foul against Hinton. It's gonna be 2 at the line. In this first quarter, the Rangers are already in a huge deficit. Gonna need a lot of points to claw back into this one. It's gonna be Johnson's first shot will be up and through. 20-3 now. Second shot from Johnson, up and good as well, so 20-4 now. It's gonna be Coochie coming across half court with it. Passing it out to Hinton. Hinton over to Torrey, over to Coochie. Coochie back to Hinton. Hinton over to Coochie.
Manton playing some excellent defense here.
Fansett with a drive in, loses the ball, rebounds it back in. Somehow in Coochie's hands. Coochie's shot up and no good. Rebounded by the Rangers. Pass out to Gilbert. Gilbert loses it out of bounds.
Manton able to stop this McBain offense. I mean, they've been struggling at it so far in this first quarter. It's great to see that they're doing a good job at it now.
So Hinton going to pass it out to Reakt. And Reakt will double dribble. Gilbert looking to pass it. Looking for Johnson, misses. Johnson will regain it, stolen by Fansett. Fansett trying to stay in bounds, finds Hinton. Over to Annika Hoidinga, and there's going to be another travel. Gilbert to pass it out, finds Johnson. Johnson going to stop, take the shot, no good. Rebounded by Johnson, taken by Fansett. Fansett in trouble, finds a way out. Driving down with a lot of players in there. Gonna pass it up to Hinton. Hinton for the three, no good. Gonna be knocked out of bounds. See what the call is. I believe it's gonna remain McBain's ball. So we'll be out on the Rangers. So it's gonna be Cucci with it. Over to Fansett. Fansett gonna drive in for the shot. Good.
I don't know if she meant to make that or pass it, but it went in regardless.
And whatever works, works. So 22-4, 3 seconds to go. Pass out stolen by Reakt, and that'll do it for the first quarter. So your Ramblers leading 22-4, just a great offensive half, and then of course that defense holding them to 4 points. We'll see if they can carry that over into the second quarter. Back to the second quarter now after that great performance by the Ramblers. If you're the Rangers, definitely looking to claw yourself back in this one, of course, with 3 quarters left to play. And you do start with that ball at this quarter after that. It's going to be over to Johnson. Johnson getting some tough defense against her. Going to pass it out to Nixon. Nixon over to, that is, Guggen. Guggen, trouble with it. Ball knocked out by Hoidinga, going to be out of bounds. Rangers going to maintain possession. Nixon going to pass it out to Nyhart. Nyhart back to Nixon. Just a big mess there. Nixon going to keep it herself, lose it out of bounds. Going to call it out on a Rambler. Or they're going to call it out on the Rangers. So McBain going to get that ball back for the first time this quarter. It's going to be Cucci coming across it with half court. Over Over to Annika Hoidinga. Hoidinga way over to Kuchi. Kuchi for the three. Good.
Kuchi. What a shot.
25-4 now. 7 minutes to go in this first half. It's going to be Johnson now. Johnson going to get a foul. Foul going to be against Kuchi. Ball is going to be stolen by Tori. Great defense. Tori coming in for the shot. Good.
McBain's been able to steal this ball quite a few times tonight and just create fast breaks to the basket.
I was about to say how Jane Kuchi has been the only McBain player not with the last name Hoidinga to score tonight, but Fansett changed that as here comes a Hoidinga down the court for the shot. No good. Rebounded by that Hoidinga, and that time it will go through.
I mean, she got her own rebound, and she finished.
29-4 now with 6:25 to go. Some tough defense against Neihart. Gonna find Johnson though. Over to Nixon. Nixon for three. No good. Taken by Reinick. Tori with it now. Tori for the shot. No good. Rebounded by Annika Hoidinga. Hinton now. Hinton for three. Good.
Looks like Jaden Kuchi's not the only one that can shoot threes.
32-4 with 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go now. It's going to be Neihart over to looking for Schultz. Schultz loses it. Schultz going to fall on the ball. So it's going to be ruled for McBain. There's going to be a timeout now, I believe, on the Rangers. Still so far, McBain dominating 32-4. Back to it now, McBain's ball. Going to be Tori coming across with half court. Annika Hoidinga, oh, passes just off target. It was blocked by McNally. McNally coming in, loses the ball. So now Tori with it once again, past half court. Over to Hinton. Hinton over to Reinick. Reinick for three, no good. Rebounded by Gilbert. Gilbert was looking for Guggen, but stolen by Reinick. Reinick over to Hoidinga. It's now once again Tori with it. Tori going to take the three, no good. Rebounded almost by Hoidinga.
Now, something I got to say is that the Rangers defense is not playing bad. I mean, they're doing pretty good on stopping this McBain offense. It's just that the Rangers offense is not fired up and is not ready to go get a score.
Ball was popped out by a Rangers, so McBain going to keep that ball. It's going to go over to Vanderwater. Over to Tori. Tori looking for Holdinga in the paint. Ashlyn Holdinga for 2, up and through.
They've been doing it so far, both quarters, passing down to the paint to Holdinga, and she's just been making it.
Yeah, 10 points now for Ashlyn Holdinga. That's stolen by Tori. Tori going to drive in. Tori going to take the shot. No good. Going to be rebounded by, out of bounds. Rebounded by nobody. So now it's going to be Nyhart with it. Over to Johnson. Johnson over to Nyhart. Nyhart for 3, no good. Rebounded by a Ranger. Going to get a foul. Going to get 2 at the line now. It's going to be Kia Gilbert coming to the line now with 4 minutes, 3 seconds to go. Looking to carve into this already massive lead that McBain has. And that won't help it as that first shot is no good. Still trailing by 30. Second shot now from Gilbert, no good. Gonna be Tori with the ball. Gonna cross half court. Taking your time, looking for something. Over to Reinick. Reinick in the corner, leaves the corner. Over to Holdinga in the paint, over Holdinga's head, and out of bounds.
Just couldn't quite get it to Holdinga.
Yeah, and if you're the Rangers, you want to build on that so far because that's all McBain has been running except for a few threes here and there.
True, true.
So it's going to be Johnson over to Nyhart. Back to Johnson. Johnson driving in. Johnson going to pass it out to Gilbert. Gilbert shot up and no good. Rebounded by Gilbert. Gilbert's second shot. This one goes through.
Man's offense starting to get fired up.
34-6 now. Tori going to try to get it to Fansett. Going to be knocked out of bounds by Nyhart. So Fansett going to pass to Reinick. Reinick over to Holdinga in the paint. Holdinga's shot up and through. Something we've seen a lot so far tonight. As now Annika Holdinga scores her 10th points of the game. It's going to go over to Nixon. Nixon over to Nyhart. Nyhart going to drive in, lose the ball, regain it. In the corner, going to take the 3. No good. Chasing it down is Fansett. Fansett going to pick it up. Fansett still rolling with it over to, that was Tori, and Tori's shot up and good.
That was a good pass over too, right next to a defender. I mean, that's hard to do.
Yeah, and Fansett just barely remaining balanced. Able to get that pass off, quite impressive. The ball is going to end up in Nixon's hands. Nearly stolen by Tori as it is now in Nyhart's possession. Over to Johnson. Johnson back to Nyhart. Nyhart gonna get a foul there. It's gonna be against Tori.
It has been a struggle for the Manton's offense just to score here. And I mean, you kind of want to score to win.
It's gonna be Nyhart over to Johnson. Johnson gonna drive in, gonna try to take the shot, gonna draw a foul.
I mean, this is one way to get points.
Yeah, but of course the last time Manton came to the line, neither shot went through. We'll see if they can change that up here. First shot, no good. 1:58 left to go in this first half. Manton looking to cut the lead that McBain has down to 31 with this free throw. Johnson's second free throw, good. Bounced off the rim and fell right back in. So 38-7 now. It's going to be Torrey coming with it across half court. Torrey over to Reakt. Reakt going to drive in. Try to pass it out to Hoytinga. Going to be stolen by, that was McNally. And then going to get a foul. Or the whistle's going to be blown. Ball's going to go back to the Ramblers. It's going to be Fansett to pass it out. Going to go over to Torrey. Torrey trouble with it. Regains possession. Taken by the Rangers. Taken by Fansett. And just a mess in the paint, as we'll see what the ruling is. It's going to go to the Rangers.
Great aggressiveness by the Rangers defense here. I mean, they're figuring out McBain's offense a little bit, but now it's just for their offense to figure out how to score.
Johnson going to pass it over to, that was Kasnoy. Going to end up in Nyhart's hand. Looking for Kasnoy. Kasnoy will have it. And the ball is going to go out. It's going to be taken by Fansett and going to get a foul. Now Fansett will pass it out after the foul. It's going to go over to Torrey. Over to Hoytinga in the paint. Hoytinga's shot up and good.
It just seems like they cannot stop Hoytinga at all tonight.
And if you're the Ramblers, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's going to go over to Nyhart. Nyhart in the paint. Nyhart going to get a something. Ball's going to go to McBain. Going to go over to Torrey now. Torrey going to cross half court with it. Over to Fansett. Over to Vanderwater. Vanderwater's shot no good. Rebounded by somebody in the pile.
I think that was Fansett.
And then the ball is going to go out of bounds. Hard to tell. There's a mosh pit in the paint. 35 seconds to go. It's going to be the Rangers ball. It's going to be Johnson. Going to come across half court with it. Going to be knocked out by Torrey. Torrey going to gain. Torrey charging in. Torrey going to stop, try to take the shot, going to get a foul.
That's something Manton does not want right here. McBain could get 2 free points here and continue to push that lead up higher and higher.
It's definitely going to be a tough second half for the Rangers, trailing big. Hopefully they can cut into some of it with these last 22 seconds. So far, though, only 3 scores along with 1 made free throw attempt. Free throw from Torrey, no good. So both free throws, no good. Ball's going to go to the Rangers now. It's going to be Johnson with it. Going to cross half court. Going to drive in, going to stop. Pass it out to Nyhart. Nyhart's 3, no good. Rebounded by Reakt. Reakt coming down the court, loses the ball, taken by The ball's going to go out. It's going to be to Reineck. Reineck going to find Fansett. Fansett with 1 second. Time will run out before she gets the shot. So that's going to do it for the first half. Ramblers just dominating the Rangers 40-7. We'll see which team can come out on top, but that second quarter, of course,
was brought to you by L&J's Meat Market. It fuels the Rambler Review crew.
and we will see which team can respond better in the second half. Of course, Ramblers playing with a huge lead. set to kick off the second half. It's going to be Ramblers ball, leading by 33. Going to pass it out to Cucci. Over to Holdinga in the paint. Holdinga's shot up and through.
Exact same as we've seen in the first half.
Yeah, just sticking to what they knew in that first half. Obviously built a huge lead as that pass is going to go nowhere, straight out of bounds. So ball right back to the Ramblers as Manton's struggles appear to continue. It's going to be Hinton across half court. Over to Cucci. Cucci going to drive. Pass it out to Annika Holdinga. Going to take the shot. No good. Rebounded by Ashlyn Holdinga and going to be called out of bounds.
Got to stay aware on where your feet are.
So now it's going to be Nyhart over to Johnson. Back to Nyhart. Ball is going to be picked up by Hinton. Hinton with an open court. Hinton coming down. Hinton going to stop, take the shot up and no good. Rebounded by Holdinga. Holdinga's shot up and through.
It seems like Manton's having trouble passing the ball around to their own players.
Yeah, and you have to credit that to the Ramblers' great defense so far tonight, not giving up very many lanes.
Well, for sure.
As ball's going to be knocked out by Holdinga.
There's
out of
more of
bounds.
that defense.
And of course, this third quarter
is brought to you by L&J's Meat Market. It fuels the Rambler Review crew.
Ball is going to be going to the Rangers. It's going to be Nyhart over to Johnson. Johnson driving in. Going to lose the ball. Stolen by Hinton. Hinton going to wrap around. Going to cross half court with it. Slow the game down. Passing it over to Cucci. Cucci going to drive. Going to get a pick. Going to pass it to Holdinga, but it's going to be in the air, taken by the Rangers. The two Rangers were fighting for the ball, and now Holdinga rolling over with it.
Getting scrappy for the ball now in the paint.
Ball will go to the Rangers with 6 minutes, 22 seconds to go. It's going to be Johnson with it. Going to come across half court. Stop, stutter. And the ball is going to be punched out of bounds. I believe that was by Hinton. Now it will be Nyhart with it. Nyhart going to get a timeout from Manton. Trying to regain composure after so far the Ramblers just looking the same way they did at the first half. And Manton really needs to regroup here. After the timeout, now it's going to be Manton's ball. Going to pass it, looking for Johnson over her head. She will find it. Going to get a block from her teammate. Going to pass it out to number 32. Shot up, no good. Rebounded by, that was McNally with the shot and the score.
Manton figuring out their offense now. Great passes and great shot there by Manton.
We'll see if they can show some consistency. There hasn't been much from them tonight. Cucci going to call a play as she crosses half court. Hinton over to Cucci. Over to Holdinga. Over to Ashlyn Holdinga. Ashlyn Holdinga's shot up and through will draw the foul. So it's going to be Ashlyn Holdinga looking to score her 15th point with this one free throw trying to make it a 3-point play. And she will. So now Ashlyn Hoidinga leading her sister by 1 point, 15-14.
There might have to be a sibling rivalry for that.
It's going to be Johnson with it now. Going to pass it out to Nyhart. Nyhart going to pass it, looking for Gilbert. Stolen by Hoidinga. Hoidinga over to Reineck. Reineck with a fast break. Reineck with a shot. No good. Rebounded by Annika Hoidinga. Going to call it out of bounds. Will be out of bounds on the Rangers, so McBain going to keep that ball. It's going to be Annika Hoidinga with it now. He's going to give it out to Cucci. Cucci for 3. No good. Rebounded by a Hoidinga. Hoidinga's shot up. Going to get a foul and will get 2 attempts at the line.
This is not something you want if you're a Manton Rangers player right now. I mean, McBain's already got a huge lead on you, and you're practically giving them 2 free points here.
Or an attempt at 2 free points as the first shot will go through. So 48-9 now with 4:54 to go. Ramblers with this free throw looking to increase their lead to 40. And they will. 49-9 with 4 minutes, 54 seconds left to go. It's going to be Nixon passing it over to Johnson. Johnson going to lose it. Cucci tries to pick it up. Whistle's going to be blown.
Cucci's hands are like magnets when she's on defense. The ball always ends up in them.
Seen a lot of steals so far from tonight from Cucci as the ball is going to go to McBain. So it's going to be Cucci over to Hinton. Hinton for 3, no good. Out of bounds. McBain, or the Rangers going to get that ball back, trailing by 40 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Johnson with it now. Johnson going to get a foul. Ball's going to go to the Ramblers. Hinton going to pass it over to Cucci, back to Hinton. Cucci looking for a lane. Going to take the shot. Good. Spin around, take the shot, no problem. 51-9.
Very impressive.
It's going to be Johnson with it now. Johnson going to lose the ball. It's going to go out of bounds. It's out of bounds on the Ramblers, so Rangers going to maintain possession. And the ball is going to go to Gilbert, going to be picked up, going to be fouled. Now ball is going to go to Johnson. Johnson looking for a lane, just gives it out to Nixon. Nixon going to find Gilbert. Gilbert over to Guggen. Guggen's shot through.
Ooh, what a shot.
Off the rim. Spun there for a second and fell back in. 51-12 with 2 minutes, 14 seconds to go.
And a comeback's got to start somewhere.
Cucci over to Hinton. Sorry.
That's right. Whether it's 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points.
Cucci for 3. No good. Rebounded by Nixon. Rangers going to get that ball. Gonna whistle it back there. It's gonna be a timeout or something. Refs just had to make something clear with the scoreboard operators. It's going to be Johnson coming across half court with it now. Johnson over to Nixon. Nixon passing it to nobody. Going to be picked up by Annika Hoidinga. Hoidinga over to Cucci. Cucci back to Hoidinga. Hoidinga in the paint. Bowls over another player. Shot up, no good. Now it's going to be Nyhart with it. Driving in. Passes it out to Guggen. Guggen's shot, no good. Rebounded by the Rangers. Shot up and good. That was McNally. 51-16, 51-14. Rangers showing a little bit of life.
I mean, it's better than not.
It's going to go to Cucci now. It looks like there was a foul against McBain. Ball is going to go to Johnson. Johnson going to look for Nixon. And looking to pass. Going to be picked up by a Hoidinga. With 10 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Still counting. Ramblers got to hurry up if they want to do anything. 2 seconds to go. Cucci's shot up and no good.
So close.
Nearly there from half court, but that's going to do it for the third quarter. At least the Rangers offense doubling the points they scored in the first half in the third quarter. We'll see. There's a lot to catch up to in the fourth. Rangers ball to start the fourth quarter. It's going to go over to Johnson. It's going to go over to Nyhart. Nyhart over to Nixon. Nixon going to drive into the corner. Going to get trapped. Ball is going to come out of bounds. It's knocked out of bounds by a Rambler. It's going to be Nyhart to pass it out. Nyhart. Ball's going to be taken by Ashlyn Hoidinga. Hoidinga coming down the court with some speed over to Reinick. Reinick's shot, no good. Rebounded by Hoidinga. Hoidinga's shot, that time, good.
Great recovery there by Hoidinga.
So score is 53-14 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. It's going to be Nyhart with it now. Nyhart in some trouble, trying to pass it out. Ball's going to come out. Luckily picked up by Nixon. Nyhart going to gun it way deep. Great pass to Guggen. Guggen going to lose the ball. Try to pick it up. Jane Cucci going to flip it out. Going to be picked up by Reinick. Reinick coming down the court. Reinick going to pass it out to Hoidinga. Hoidinga's shot up and through. 20 points from Ashlyn Hoidinga.
What a night she's had so far.
It's going to be Johnson with it. Over to Nixon. Nixon going to try to drive in. Just going to give it to her teammate, Gilbert. Or that was McNally. McNally's shot up and through. So 55-16.
Manton still showing a little bit of fight from that third quarter.
Over to Reineck. Reineck's shot, no good. Rebounded by Johnson. Torn out by Hoytinga. And going to be a foul. Ball will go to the Rangers. Nyhart going to pass it to Schultz. Schultz coming down the court, going to give it to Nixon. Nixon going to drive in, trouble with the ball, passing it out, picked up by Nyhart. Nyhart's shot, no good. Rebounded by Hoytinga. Whistle going to get blown for a travel. Going to be Rangers ball. Over to Nixon. Nixon for the long two. No good. Rebounded by Cucci. Cucci going to get pushed out of bounds. Unable to keep her balance. Ball's going to go back to the Rangers once again. Nyhart to pass it out. Nyhart going to find Schultz. Schultz back to Nyhart. Nyhart three. Good.
Very good. More threes.
55-19 now with 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Ramblers looking to close this out, leading by 36. Going to be Cucci to Annika Hoytinga. Annika Hoytinga over to, that was number 40. That was Bovin. Bovin's shot no good. It's going to be Nyhart driving. Nyhart going to get the ball punched out. Going to go out of bounds.
Manton's taking the ball out a lot in the past few minutes.
Nyhart going to pass it to, it was Gilbert. Gilbert going to shoot, no good. Rebounded by Zorn. Zorn over to Cucci. Cucci over to Annika Hoytinga in the paint. Shot up, no good. Foul called. It's going to be Annika Hoytinga coming to the line. Looking to score her 15th and 16th point of the ball game. She will get her 15th. Looking for 16 now. And she finds it. So 57-19 with 2 minutes, 55 seconds to go. Ball's going to go over to Johnson. Johnson going to cross half court with it. Going to look for a pass. Going to find Kasnoy. Kasnoy going to lose it. Taken by Annika Hoytinga. Hoytinga way over to Hinton. Hinton shot no good. Rebounded by Fansett. Fansett shot no good. Rebounded by Zorn. Zorn's shot no good. That time finally rebounded by a Ranger. That was Guggen.
Men's getting real lucky with McBain missing their shots here.
Going to be Johnson now. Johnson tried to throw it to her teammate who's going in for a pick, and it's going to be Tori now. Tori loses the ball, going to shoot it up, no good. Going to regain the ball, try to shoot it up, no good. Rebounded by, it's going to roll out of bounds. So it's going to be Ramblers ball. Hinton going to pass it to Zorn. Zorn loses it. Picked up by Hinton. Hinton for the 3. Good.
She's 3 for 3 right now on her 3 points.
So a 3-point from Hinton. Never mind, it was ruled a 2.
That looked like a 3.
It's going to be 59-19 now. Ramblers once again leading by 40.
Wonder if we can see them get to 60 here.
I mean, everybody thought it should be after that 3, but ruled a 2 by the referees with a minute to go. It's going to be Nixon stolen by Fansett, and Fansett going to slow it down here. Going to pass it out in the open. Going to be picked up by Johnson. Johnson going to pass it to Gilbert. Gilbert in the paint has trouble, trips. And then it's going to be stolen by Torrey. Torrey over to Hinton. Hinton now going to slow it down and run out these last 40 seconds. Over to Torrey. Torrey going to lose the ball out of bounds with 33 seconds to go.
Almost looked like that should have been a foul by Manton.
Going to be Johnson with it now. Johnson over to Nixon. Nixon going to drive in. Nixon going to get a foul with 22.4 seconds to go. Ball's going to go to the Ramblers.
Like
never mind, it's going to go to the Rangers as the clock still runs with 13 seconds.
10, 9.
Nothing is happening as they will stop the clock.
Doesn't look like
now it's going to go to the Ramblers. So Torrey just going to dribble it out to secure the game. Never mind, she's going to take the shot. No good. Rebounded by Fansett. That'll do it. Torrey gunning for those 60 points. Not going to get it, but the JV girls for the Ramblers take this game against Manton 59-19 as we prepare for the varsity game. Of course, this game brought to you by
L&J's Meat Market. It fuels the Rambler Review crew.
As we get set to start the varsity game, we will see you in that game.
Yep.
Hopefully.